Good morning, Atlanta. Today on Play to Win, who's the best quarterback in the SEC? And what the heck? Deion Sanders at Georgia Tech? We're going to dig into all that and more coming up next on the fastest 30 minutes in television, football's Play to Win.
Today's show is being brought to you by your Atlanta Nissan dealers. This is it, Southern Kitchen and Barbecue, Atlanta Peach Movers, and Wayfield Foods. Welcome to football's Play to Win with Falcons All-Pro defensive end Chuck Smith, Falcons All-Pro offensive tackle Bob Whitfield, Play to Win expert Jeffrey the Edge Schechter, college and SEC football expert Chris Marler, 680 The Fan morning drive host Brandon Leak, Falcons All-Pro wide receiver Terrence Mathis, and your host Nikki Williams. Today's Hometown Team Report is being brought to you by Montlick Injury Attorneys. Our attorneys know what it takes to win.
Happy Saturday, Atlanta, and of course, happy game day to everyone out there. Thank you for tuning in to another week of football's Play to Win with our crew. We're just kicking the party off. Bob Whitfield, Terrence Mathis, home team Brandon Leak, everybody else joining us here in just a few. And our Hometown Team Report is brought to you by Montlick Injury Attorneys. Y'all, the Jeff Collins era has ended at Georgia Tech. There's a lot of names going around in the mix. One of them, Deion Sanders. What do we think about this one, Bob?
You know, that would be great for the city, primetime returning, but I don't know if that's going to be what Georgia Tech has to offer. I just foresee something like the Rambling Wreck going back to that option scheme, and that means they're going to look at Army's coach Monken up there, and he's the option guy. He know how to run it. So I don't know if they're going to have the recruits or have the ability, even if primetime was the coach, to get another coup of five-star recruits to go in a place that Georgia Tech is not just really the football factory, or at least not since, Megatron or even in 1990s Georgia Tech. So I think there's going to be other names that might get the Rambling Wreck back running that option.
I like a Monken, but I'm not sure if it's the one running the option. You know, Todd Monken at Georgia Tech could be an option. You know, the question is, what are his personal goals? He makes $2 million at Georgia being a coordinator. They were paying Jeff Collins $3 million. And also a name, Bill O'Brien, who used to be a coach at Georgia Tech 20 plus years ago, is now at Alabama. He's been to the NFL. He's been with Nick Saban, and you have to wonder where the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets want to go. They have to be with a coach that scores points, that connects with the community, and is able to recruit and put some points on the board. I'm thinking one coach that has been able to be in the pros might be a way to go.
And Terrence, you're a coach. I mean, if you're Deion Sanders, are you taking this, or are you going to take two of these and wait it out?
No, I'm taking this job. If it's offered to me, I'm taking this job. I come back home, former Brave, former Falcons. I'm loved in the city. I recruit this area. I got you a 5-star from this area that will follow me to Georgia Tech. I got other 5-stars that's in the portal that I can go get, or 4-star guys that I can go get. And understand this, in college football today, Deion's name is probably the third best name in coaching football behind Saban, Dabo, and then there's Sanders. That's what we've been talking about for 3-4 months now.
Well, guys, we are just getting started. Coming up next is our SEC report, and who do we think the best quarterback is out there? We'll dig into it coming up next on football's Play to Win.
When choosing a law firm, what is it that really matters most?
At Montlick & Associates, we have the legal talent, resources, and reputation for winning big cases. We have big goals, big results, and have received some pretty big honors.
But we're not so big that you'll ever feel small or unimportant. At Montlick & Associates, giving our clients excellent service is what matters most.
If you've been hurt, we're here to help.
Wouldn't it be awesome if you could buy your next vehicle without going to the dealership? Now you can with Beaver Direct. It's fast and really simple. Log into beavertoyotacoming.com, click on Beaver Direct, quietly shop from hundreds of vehicles, obtain a credit approval and trade appraisal in minutes.
A Bojangles family meal has more to choose from.
Coleslaw.
Dirty rice.
Mac and cheese. Those scratch-made biscuits.
More choices of handcrafted fixins for everyone. You won't find that in a bucket or a bundle. Order in the app and get more. It's Bo time.
Every day, we roll out before sunrise. Our dedication is what makes us reliable. Heating, cooling, hot water, plumbing, and electrical. Our results make us always reliable.
Any size AC system, just $69.99 a month.
Today's SEC and ACC report is being brought to you by your Southeastern Nissan dealer.
Welcome back. It's our SEC ACC report brought to you by Greater Atlanta Nissan. Chris Marler back in the show to break down all things college football for us. Chris, a lot of names out there. One in particular you like to do a play on words with, Young, Bennett, and last but not least, Hooker, among other names out there. But if you had to say, who would you think the best quarterback in the SEC is right now, Chris?
Well, I tell you what, usually pay a hooker to leave, but they have paid this hooker, Hendon Hooker in Knoxville, to stay. And since he's been a starter, I think they probably want him to stay forever. The kid's like 26 years old, but at the same time, since taking over the starting job, he has 45 touchdowns and only 2 interceptions. So it's hard not to go with Hendon Hooker. It's also hard not to go with Bryce Young when you talk about the intangibles and what he's been able to do in big games. That Alabama team is probably a 4 or 5 loss team over the past 2 years without Bryce Young as the quarterback there. Stetson Bennett's also a guy you got to throw in the mix because of how efficient and fantastic he's been, not only this year, but also in the playoffs a year ago. And then Will Rogers from Mississippi State, leading the world in like every single statistical category, but just kind of gets lost in the shuffle with how elite the quarterbacks are in this year's class in the SEC.
You still got to go with the Heisman Trophy winner. I mean, look, Hendon Hooker, you're leading your team in passing and in rushing. He certainly can't be overlooked. But the guy who's got the hardware, the guy who's in the championship game, and the guy that has big games coming down the pipe. Oh, by the way, he doesn't flinch at all when big games come up. You still got to go with the Heisman Trophy winner. That's Bryce Young.
I'm just saying, you know who I'm going to say. Stetson.
Oh, my God.
I feel like you should get a tattoo on your neck saying Stetson, sir. Because you're going to find out, and everybody going to find out. Tennessee going to find out. Bama going to find out. And everybody get a tattoo. Stetson is the man.
Bama's going to find out about Stetson. Bama's 2-1 against Stetson Bennett.
Speaking of Bama, your favorite subject, Chris, it's time now for our college football showdown.
Today's Showdown of the Week is being brought to you by This Is It Southern Kitchen and Barbecue. Real food for real people.
Number 2, Alabama at number 20, Arkansas. Do we think Alabama is going to continue to struggle on the road, or are they going to be back to their old ways, Chris?
I mean, if you're asking me, I would assume they're going to continue to struggle. I mean, this is okay. Good. So, as much as you call me out every single week about being a homer, if you look at the numbers and objectively, all of the numbers from Bama's offense, Bryce Young, like individually, all of the numbers dwindle down when they go on the road. Alabama's played very few close games over the past several years, but the last 5 true road games, and which is all 5 true road games Bryce Young has ever started, 4 of those have been by 3 points or less.
It's a find-out game for Sam Pittman. He's still the darling of the SEC coaches right now, but the ability to contain Bryce Young, and I think Chris is right, what's been going on the road for Alabama is something to watch out for, but the Hogs are looking for a situation where they'll be able to run the ball and maybe come over with some turnovers and maybe press those wide receivers a little bit. I just think Alabama is tired of people questioning them, and now that they get into the meat of the SEC schedule, I think this might be the find-out game for them to go ahead and start blowing some guys out.
All right, guys, stick with us. When we come back, we're going to talk about Georgia's offense. We're going to break it all down next, coming up on Football's Play to Win.
This is it. Southern Kitchen and Barbecue has real value for real people. Want lunch? Try our new delicious lunch value menu with 12 items under $12. Want dinner? Try our all-new everyday value menu with the new freshly prepared delicious lemon pepper fried whitey nuggets. They are featured in both menus. Order online at thisisitbbq.com. Real value for real people. Union City Store now open.
School buses are back on the road. After the summer, our kids are ready to reunite with classmates, teammates, and friends. Georgia, let's help our children enjoy the new school year with the protection they need. COVID-19 vaccine and booster. It's that simple.
Chevy Silverado. It's got the power you want and the capability you need to do the job so you can get to the important work. Find new moments, find new roads. Get a $500 cash allowance on all 2022 Silverado pickups with a 2.7-liter turbo engine. Plus, now during truck season, get a $1,000 accessory allowance toward a new Chevy truck with accessories. Georgia drives Chevy. Find new roads.
It's bill paying day at the Hendersons.
Even higher than last month.
A day of dread and unwanted surprises.
We use that much water? Really?
With one notable exception.
Now that's what I'm talking about. Up high, Mr. Meter.
With the simple one price plan from Gas South, you pay the same amount every month with no deposits and no surprises.
Hey, you Gas South guys have a cell phone plan?
Gas South. The difference is good.
Today's University of Georgia Report is being brought to you by Beaver Toyota, your fastest and smartest way to shop for your next vehicle.
Welcome back. It is time now for our dog report brought to you by Beaver Toyota, and it's time for a little bit of a game. We're going to call it Fact or Fiction. And Chris, I'm starting with you. Fact or fiction, last week exposed holes in the UGA's defense.
I mean, you know what? I'm going to ask you, Nikki, because a week ago on this very show, you posed the question, is this the greatest team of all time? The greatest team of all time is in a dogfight with Kent State for 3.5 quarters. So hopefully, honestly, that might be the toughest team on this schedule the entire season. So Georgia should be fine. No, it didn't expose Georgia at all. They had a bunch of turnovers early. It's the first turnovers they had the entire season. There were a lot of positives. They didn't have a single punt. They still had over 500 yards of offense. Stetson got all of his yards, and Brock Bowers continues to be maybe the best player in the country. So, no, this does not expose anything.
Yeah, it's fiction with a capital F. It's not Game of Thrones. It'd be Game of Bones, the boneyard where that should go, because the bottom line is they could have eliminated Kent State early if they didn't miss on a couple of shots in the red zone. They finally get an interception from Stetson Bennett. And the bottom line is they still scored 26 points at the half, which is more than halfway to 50. It's the perfect game for Kirby Smart. It was a team. He knew his guys could look across the field and say, we have this game. And what it did was show that they could still be coached, they could still make a few mistakes, and he could still use some points in this game to say, hey, if Kent State can do this to you, guess what? Somebody in the SEC can do this to you. But no, it is not even close to being the case that their defense is flawed at all. And you're going to see today when they put up 40 or more and the Missouri Tigers are scrambling to get out of the 20s, which team is the team about fiction, and it won't be the guy with the visor with the dog on the front of it.
Hold on. First off, if Missouri scores 20 points on Georgia, I will get the Stetson Bennett tattoo on my neck. 1,000%.
Oh, well,
you heard it here first.
We'll
There's
hold
no
you
chance.
to that.
Yeah, that might have been dumb, Chris, but we're down for sure. Bob, fact or fiction? UGA's offense is the best in the SEC.
Well, it's kind of like a fact with a little bit of friction that's added to it, because they haven't really played a formidable defense that is just like lights out, shut down yet. So I think what you see is Stetson Bennett hitting on all cylinders and showing a spread of wealth to all the different athletes from tight end, receiver, running back, and doing all the things right to keep that actual offense running at, top flight. So I think right now they are the best, but when they start getting deeper into that season and really seeing some tough defenses, then we might have to revisit this little answer and question Q&A thing.
Man, you're just out there blending words. The question was fact or fiction. You took both of them and turned it into friction. What a soothsayer, if you will. Chris, fact or fiction, not friction. The Dogs bounce back today and steamroll Missouri.
Man, I tell you what, against all odds, I do think that Georgia is going to be able to bounce back from that tough game against Kent State and then beat Missouri, who just lost to Auburn a week ago in one of the most incredible acts of sportsmanship I've ever seen in my life, in going out of their way to try to get Brian Harsin not fired. So yeah, Georgia will bounce back in a big way and go on the road in front of just a hostile crowd of 7,800 people in Como and probably come out with a big win.
Cats can't win a dog fight.
Right. And Brandon, I was actually going to come back to you since everybody else was blending words and making up their own answers to our game. Guys, we are going to stick with the rules and playing by the rules. We're going to talk about the Atlanta Falcons. Can their run game be trusted? We'll break that down for you next, coming up on Football's Play to Win.
Today's show is being brought to you by your Georgia Drive Chevy dealers, Chevrolet, Find New Roads, Bojangles, and Reliable Heating and Air, doing great since '78.
Time. We all need more time. And now with Beaver Direct, we're giving you just that. Linda Beaver here to show you how Beaver Direct has quickly become Atlanta's favorite way to buy their next vehicle. Shop from the comfort of your home. Choose a vehicle and one of our on-site specialists will live video chat you and give a complete walk around of the vehicle. Then get a price and payment in minutes. Sign all your paperwork digitally and have your vehicle delivered to you within an hour. Visit us at BeaverToyotaComing.com and see how Beaver Direct gives you back your time.
We break a sweat to get you feeling comfortable. Our commitment is what makes us reliable. Heating, cooling, hot water, plumbing, and electrical. Our results make us always reliable.
Any size AC system, just $69.99 a month.
After an accident, how well you recover financially affects much more than you realize. It's more than just paying your medical bills and fixing your car. It's about what's been taken away from you and the impact it will have on you and your family for the rest of your life. That's why at Montlick & Associates, we fight so hard, holding the insurance companies accountable and taking it to trial if needed. If you've been seriously hurt, protect your future. Speak to a Montlick injury attorney today.
Hash browns are the French fries of breakfast.
Who says it's not French fries that are the hash browns of lunch and dinner?
That's also true.
Mix and match 2 of your favorites for $2.29. Add any size iced coffee for just $1.69. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Today's Atlanta Falcons report is being brought to you by your Georgia Drive Chevy dealers. Chevrolet, find new roads.
All right, everybody, let's have a Falcons report brought to you by Georgia Drive Chevy. Terrence Mathis, the legend, the man himself, joining us now to break down some Atlanta Falcons football. Terrence, really quick, the Browns at the Falcons. Now, is the Falcons' run game for real? Can we trust it? Do you think it's going to continue versus Cleveland?
Well, if we mix up pass and run like we did last week against the Seahawks, yeah, it's going to be productive and we're going to trust it. Because here it is, in today's NFL, it's pass first, run second. Back in the 90s, when you had the premier running backs, you ran the ball to throw the ball. But you have to be creative in the pass game to have an effective run game. And if you do that, yeah, they'll be for real.
You're right, T. You're right. And I think what you saw when we debated that read action from the quarterback and what it's intending to do, and it sets up a lot of the passing off of it, but it also says the quarterback adds to your running game when he can sneak out for a first down. And like I said, give you 4 yards on a quarterback run out. But I also looking at the Cleveland's running game because, old Georgia running back Nick Chubb and what he has with Kareem Hunt, they are a good running attack too. So I think Cleveland and Atlanta look the same on tape. And it's either teams venture into the running game who's going to lead on the ground that might be victorious, who's going to win that game.
Yeah, it sounds crazy, but to Bob's point, they look different, but they yield the same results. The Falcons are a top 5 running team in the National Football League, and Cleveland is number 1 with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. So I think the play calling of Arthur Smith has been masterful, and if he's able to keep the play calling and the unevenness that he's able to give defenses with his looks, he's able to keep them off balance. I think this thing looks for real, and it looks like the Falcons could find a way to find some success with that for the rest of the season.
Listen, I don't have daddy issues, but I do have trust issues when it comes to the Atlanta Falcons. Terrence, are the Falcons getting any better? Do we just not give Coach Smith enough credit here?
Look, I don't want to throw any water on the fire right now, but he's been good against teams that's below 500. The 8 wins that they've had so far is against teams under 500. Here's a chance to beat a quality football team, a potential playoff football team, a physical football team. Now, you can't go in this game regressing to where you were 2 weeks ago. Be that coach you were against Seattle, and we'll have a chance to win this football game.
This is his shot. He's got a team that's top 10 in scoring. He's scoring more than 26 points a game. You've done it the first 3 games. You need to do it at home in front of a fan base that needs to see something. He gets this team to 2-2. Right. His team will believe, the fans will believe, and the players will believe. This is his shot. Win a game at home and finally give somebody at home something to cheer about.
Cue Eminem, Mom Spaghetti, y'all. Coming up next, we are going to break down the NFC South. We're still having fun here on Football's Play to Win.
Chevy Silverado. It's got the power you want and the capability you need to do the job, so you can get to the important work. Find new moments, find new roads. Get a $500 cash allowance on all 2022 Silverado pickups with a 2.7-liter turbo engine. Plus, now during truck season, get a $1,000 accessory allowance toward a new Chevy truck with accessories. Georgia drives Chevy. Find new roads.
Come to Wayfield Foods, everything is laid out very nice. You'll find farm fresh produce, the best prices in town on fresh chicken, pork chops, meaty ribs, steak, and more. Stock up and save at Wakefield Foods, the meat people.
Hash browns are the French fries of breakfast.
Who says it's not French fries that are the hash browns of lunch and dinner?
That's also true.
Mix and match 2 of your favorites for $2.29 at any size iced coffee for just $1.69. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
You just bought a new house. Now you've got to move. Nobody likes to move. That's why you call Atlanta Peach Movers. Your choice for the best move. No job is too big or too small, and you can be assured your belongings will get where they need to be on time and in one piece. Our in-house training facility ensures our team is ready to offer you unmatched service and a no-hassle moving experience. For the best value in the business, call Atlanta Peach Movers for a free quote today.
Today's NFL report is being brought to you by Reliable Heating and Air, doing great since '78.
Hello and welcome back. It's time now for our NFL report brought to you by Reliable Heating and Air. Terrence, when we look at this whole NFC South, would we say, and it pains me to ask you this, but looking at the division, is it the weakest in the NFC?
Well, if you go by the record, yes. You know, at one time, this was a premier division because you had Breeze, you had Ryan, you had Cam Newton, and then it didn't matter who the quarterback was in Tampa, they were doing well. Now you got Brady. So it was the premier division in the NFL because those 4 teams was vying for playoff spots, if not all 4 being in the playoffs. So now we're looking today that you only have one premier quarterback in this division who's getting all the glory and all the shine is Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So it'll turn again. It'll turn again because, you know, I hate to say it, you know, these teams going to draft quarterbacks over the next 2 or 3 years. That's going to be their franchise quarterback.
Yeah, T, I was gonna say the West, but since the injury out in San Francisco, now you got Jimmy G back, and San Francisco looks like a rebounded team with Jimmy G at quarterback. And it does look at the South with there was all these questions with the South and the new quarterbacks in Carolina, and then Jameis Winston coming back from injury. But it's been Tom Brady, the most questionable one at quarterback, whose Tampa Bay's offense is ranked like something 22nd. And you see in Mariota, a journeyman type, who's finally getting a little groove in that last game that's saying, hey, the South is going to be competitive, because I think what you have is down the stretch, you know, the NFC South teams, they hold their own.
James has come, and it's a situation where you have a young coach in Arthur Smith. You've got a new coach in New Orleans. Todd Bowles takes over in Tampa, and Matt Rule looks like he's on his way out. So stability is not there, but I think over time, to Terrence's point, the NFC South will be back.
We just need to zhuzh it up a little bit. Terrence, where do you think Atlanta will finish in the NFC South pecking order?
Well, you know, I predicted them to finish second. And they're going to have to split with Tampa. If they split with Tampa, well, they're going to have to win off the rest, because you already blew your chance of beating the Saints on opening day. So you can't afford to lose any more games in this division. Now, if you beat Tampa twice, we're there. But I see a split there, but I see them finishing number 2 in this division.
If anything, we just need it to be a lot of fun, right, guys? And you know what is a lot of fun? Predictions. And they are coming up next with Jeffrey the Ed Schechter. You don't want to miss it. It's all coming up next on Football's Play to Win.
We had a home warranty. And over the years, probably close to 80% of our problems came from heating and air situations. We had a major breakdown. So when we called the home warranty company, we had to come out of pocket $1,700. We came across Reliable. One of the technicians explained to us there was a program to help change over the units. They would maintain the units for the life of the unit. It was a no-brainer for us.
Get any size air conditioner for only $69.99 a month.
It's bill paying day at the Hendersons.
Even higher than last month.
A day of dread and unwanted surprises.
We use that much water? Really?
With one notable exception.
Now that's what I'm talking about. Up high, Mr. Meter.
With the simple one price plan from Gas South, you pay the same amount every month with no deposits and no surprises.
Hey, you Gas South guys have a cell phone plan?
Gas South. The difference is good.
Chevy Silverado. It's got the power you want and the capability you need to do the job, so you can get to the important work. Find new moments, find new roads. Get a $500 cash allowance on all 2022 Silverado pickups with a 2.7-liter turbo engine. Plus, now during truck season, get a $1,000 accessory allowance toward a new Chevy truck with accessories. Georgia drives Chevy. Find new roads.
Today's college and NFL predictions report is being brought to you by the Georgia Department of Public Health. Vaccination is the best tool to protect lives and stop the spread of COVID-19 in Georgia.
Welcome back. Let's have our college and NFL predictions from the man with all the answers himself, Jeffrey the Ed Schechter.
Hey, we have the good news and bad news. In the colleges last week, we were 3-0. So this week, I like Texas A&M at Mississippi State, getting 3.5 points. Mississippi State has a hard time playing good teams. Take the 3.5 with Texas A&M. Duke is coming on. They were undefeated until last week. Virginia, I watched them against Syracuse last week. They look a little sloppy. Give the 3 with Duke. And NC State plus 6.5. NC State's going to win the ACC. Take NC State with the 6.5 against Clemson. In the pros, we were 1 winner and 2 losers. I like Minnesota 2.5 at New Orleans. New Orleans, I don't know, their offense isn't that good. It's time to grow up, Minnesota. Green Bay's not that good. Chicago and Detroit are in that division. You should win that division. Dallas 3 over Washington. I don't know who made this number up. It had to be Jerry Jones because Dallas should be a 10-point favorite over Washington. Give the 3 with Dallas. Tennessee and Indy. Indy beat Kansas City, was given a gift from Kansas City last week. Take the 3.5 with Tennessee. They'll start playing their kind of ball. Good luck, everybody.
And you know, the best part about all of us being in our homes is we can't argue with the man, can we, guys? But guess what? You can chat with all of us online, on Twitter. Come find all of us until we see you again next week. Same time, same place. Football's Play to Win, 9 a.m. Saturday on Fox 5.
Today's show has been brought to you by Beaver Toyota, Montlick Injury Attorneys. Our attorneys know what it takes to win. And McDonald's.